Hi, Lori.
Hey, Sharan. Good morning from LA.
Good morning for you and good afternoon to me. I'm so excited to be here with you, Lori, because I know we both have so much to share with, regards to the shifts that we've both had in our lives and the pictures that we've just shown initially, the beginning of this video. That is only the external aspect of what has really happened.
Hmm.
It just feels like there's so much depth that needs to be shared that's behind those pictures that I know you and I are so excited to just wanting to do this because we know that there's no point in hiding the power of the shifts that we've had internally, because
Absolutely.
there's people out there that are probably waiting for something that would allow them to have similar shifts. And so that's, this is where I really wanted to start it off with. So if you want to start with what happened with you and how you, I know it was quite amazing how you actually got introduced to it.
Yeah, well, first I want to say thank you for not hiding, your own testimonial, which I found on Facebook. So it's funny that you're saying it's like, um, yeah, when I look back at those pictures, that before picture, so it's so hard, so discouraging. I remember being in that space and, we don't really go out and talk about those hardships, because it's like, well, at least for me, it's just sort of putting the mask on and like carrying on, moving through your day. But, back in the day, I'm super vulnerable right now because it's so
I
in
feel
my
that.
heart right now, right? Um, but it's okay. I like saying that I'm nervous and that it was such a pivotal point because I tried just about everything back in like a year ago. I started like over a year ago. I would say probably about a year and a half ago, I started having some major digestive issues. And I started taking just about everything that I could find. And I wasn't comfortable in my body. I wasn't really able to fully express the work that I'm doing, through videos that I like to do now. And it's interesting talking about it now because there's some, it's like I couldn't talk about it when I was going through it because I didn't want to put energy there. That was my intention. It was like, but I was still trying everything, eating better, drinking more water, trying just about everything. So it was just like the digestion was completely off. I started doing a lot of the holistic modalities like acupuncture, and I'd go to like different types of holistic doctors and stuff like that. I knew that there was something wrong, but I didn't really want that validation like through a medical doctor because I knew that fear wasn't going to support me. So I would always try like, and then energy healers. I know I've definitely asked you for some support, so thank you for that as well. But it was and another big thing was like, it looked like I was overweight, but now looking back, it was like just the toxins overload. It's like, and I didn't know any better. I didn't know that was what that was. So,
I
and I
also
was,
remember you saying about your muscles.
yeah, the part where like just super weak and like the muscles shrinking, which I can only talk about now because my muscles are starting to rebuild now. And talk about vulnerable because it's like I've always felt so super strong and I've always considered myself strong. And then all of a sudden, like I just noticed like my arms were, just carrying things were harder. I would try to undo lids and it was like, why am I not able to do that anymore? So yeah, it was like, what's happening? What's wrong? And that's scary.
Mm.
But then, full fast forward, uh, was like on last March, which is only like 3 months ago, which is hard to believe this is 3 months ago. But I was with one of my spiritual teachers and I don't typically talk to her. But in this moment, I just felt like I had no choice. I had no choice. And I just told her that I was just having some issues with my teeth. I wasn't even going into like the deeper parts, but, I just said, that I need help. And then she looked deeply into my eyes, like into my soul. And then she just said, I will help you. And I knew right from that point right there that I was definitely like all of my fears just sort of just dissipated completely. And I knew right then and there that like help was on the way, no doubt. It was a godsend, definitely. And then a week later, I see your testimonial on Facebook, and I knew it because my teacher was, excuse me, my Arjuna, my cat is helping out right now.
You know he is.
Yeah, I know he is, right? There's so much more going on than we know. But anyway, long story short is like, I knew, from your testimonial, your very vulnerable testimonial. Oh, and that my teacher was talking about the power of organic food, non-GMO, all of that, because right now, Earth is completely infested with GMOs, and that's what we're eating, and that's what we're ingesting, and that's what we're becoming. So when I saw your amazing, powerful, hold on one second. This is totally being in the moment. But I am going to move my cat for a second.
That's fine.
All right, hold on. Just continue. All right. Okay, but this is
the authenticity of this video. It's like, totally, this is our intention. And then everything that Lori was sharing, it's totally resonate. And when she's done, I will share.
Okay, that's better. Yeah. Thank you.
I was just saying that I'll share after you.
Oh, okay, great. So, so basically, she was talking about how, and it got me to a place of like, oh, great, with all this information, what else? It's like, what am I going to do with this information? And basically what she said was, and this is a enlightened soul, by the way, that's sharing this information, that I went to one of my spiritual teachers. And then she was saying that Earth right now is, she even used the word cancerous because of the GMOs and humanity just like misusing its power. That like she used the example that it's like we can't, a baby can't go full gestation if, we started playing around at 3 months, you know what I mean? So I thought that was a really powerful example. It's like, and that's what's happening with the crops and vegetables and things that we're actually eating and hoping that, they're helping our health and restoring ourselves and all of that. So that's where it all started, and then like, I saw your testimonial and you're like non-GMO and organic and gluten-free and all of these things. And I was just like, my ears were just completely opened up and I knew it. I was like, this is it. And there was no doubt in my mind. And I was like, how do I get this? And you're just like, all right, here's how you get it. And from that time, it's history.
Yeah.
And
I know, your transformation's been huge because we've been kind of connecting with each other regularly through that. And, you say with regards to me about, the video, the picture that I put up. And that was tough. That was really tough. And what you were saying about feeling like you can't tell anybody that you were going through something because you didn't want to put the energy into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally resonate with that. So, for me, it was like being an epigeneticist, which is like, my beliefs control my biology, and that's what I tell people, and your DNA and all of that. So it was like, what is going on with me? I mean, this was my internal dialogue, and mm-hmm. I didn't want to share that because, like you said, I'm not putting the energy into it. But there was a huge part of me that was going through that. There was, the weight gain that was continuing to carry on, building. It was like a snowball. I was eating right. I was exercising. all of that, you know, there was nothing that you could look at what I was doing that was contributing to it, but yet it was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it was difficult. It was really difficult. And when I also, you know, like you said, you know, I think you said, but the gums and the teeth, and because you know, this is another vulnerable thing which I don't normally talk about, and that is that, you know, I had receding gums the last year or so, and I say the word had.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
And you know, it was tough. It was tough. It was tough because I looked after myself, and it's like, well, what went wrong? And you know, because being an energy worker, I was already doing the work energetically on the weight, on the gums, and I was doing all of that. And there just seemed to be a discrepancy of how my soul felt and what was showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't know how to bridge the gap between the two. I just didn't know. And then, as you said, you know, for you, it was for me sharing that testimonial, which was truly vulnerable, because I did lose quite a bit of weight. And the thing was that Samantha, as you know her, she's Fox Olson. She was sharing and saying how amazing it was for her, and that's where I kind of like was, is this for me? You know, there was something in me that my cells were kind of going. It was, you know, like you could hear a signal, like there was something, and I decided to, after a bit of umming and ahhing and, you know, kind of really feeling into it, I decided to go for it. So that was last October that I started my first cleanse, my 10-day cleanse, and not looked back. You know, I've lost all weight. I feel stronger. I was thinking about it just the other day. It was like, you know, people say that, you know, you get, like you said, your muscles get weaker as you get older because, you know, you're losing muscle. I actually feel like I'm gaining muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, my exercise is stronger. I feel great with all of that. Just being able to, you know, the little things that matter, like being able to do down dog in yoga pose.
I hear you, right.
And do a handstand, you know, where with your, even my legs up on a chair, it's like, that's where I've got to. I couldn't do that and stay there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, and you're doing it and you're internally smiling because you're like, it's those little baby steps that, you know, it's the journey, isn't it? It's the journey that is so amazing. And
it's coming to my mind where I literally skip now when I'm on my, like, I go for like sort of fast walks, and I do it every day, and I could do it more, but you're right, it's the little things that we take for granted every day.
yeah.
And it's like it's so much more than a physical thing, as you're saying. It's mind, body, spirit, everything.
Yeah, totally. And
But
you know,
yeah, like there's just so much more life in our spirit and in our being now.
because I remember you saying when you did your first cleanse, you were like, I actually sprinted in the park.
I thank you for bringing that up. Oh my God, even I was completely in awe of that. Like, what is happening right now? I mean, this is someone who I've always considered athletic myself. And then all of a sudden it was just like little by little, it's kind of like a gradual thing where you're, you know, either you're thinking it's age or whatever, like, oh, I just can't do what I used to. But those are just false beliefs. Those are limited beliefs.
Absolutely.
You know, and then when your body is getting, you know, the nutrients that it needs, and it's starting to really, the body is doing what it's made to do. It's just like, oh my God, this is incredible. Yeah. I thank you for bringing me back to that moment where, like, I'm watching these people jogging in front of me, and I'm like, and I don't even know if it was like my mind. I think it was something underneath my mind that wanted to run. And all of a sudden I'm running and I'm feeling like, and I'm like, I felt like I was in junior high again.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? And it felt so free. I felt so free. So
Yeah.
thank you for reminding me that.
I remember it because when you first.
More of that. Yes.
Yeah. And I wanted to say as well, so now the gums are actually growing back. I feel it. And I know I mean, the ease in my mouth, it's like, I get a lump in my throat saying it because it was so hard. Just, it's huge. And I know you want to share your bit about your gums.
Yeah, well, just quickly, and this is something I definitely wouldn't have shared in the past, even like a month ago, but I could barely even talk because it was that discomfort. Um, and so at a point, like I would just tell my friends, okay, what's new with you? And then I would just be like, I'm not, I can't talk. I wouldn't say I can't talk, but I would just like, that's the thing. There's so much embarrassment behind it or shame. But
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, like 2 months after starting these superfoods Purium, it was just like, oh my God, like I could talk now and I could talk, without even limitation. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is a miracle. Yeah. And so how about you as well?
Oh yeah. I mean, totally. It's like, the sensations in my mouth were just, it was difficult because you could feel things weren't normal. And like we said, it's the little things. It's like now it feels normal. It feels normal again.
Right, right.
And just it's amazing. Really is. But I know you've got stuff to share about you, like, we both do, and how, this is how it impacted us. But well, we can start with this really, is that, you just said it about the internal transformation. It's not just that bit. It's like how we know, we both been talking to each other, how internally it just feels like there's been, it's almost like having these nutrients. It just helps you on a level that it can't be expressed. It's deep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, when you're saying deep, it's actually because they're high vibrational superfoods, they're high vibrational nutrients. I mean, I'm literally seeing like relationship shift in my family. I mean, and I totally attribute it to like a lot of us in my family are on it right now. And like I could overlook that and say, well, it's just a coincidence, but I know better. Like we are what we eat. And I think in the past when I didn't know any better or that I didn't have maybe the resources to eat better, it was on default. It was just like, I could say it now, being on these nutrients for 3 months now, that like I am so grateful that I am what I eat now. I'm like, oh my God, I eat this. Like this is what I get to eat. And I get 2 of these a day. And I know that I'm taking care of myself for the first time in years. And that's just like peace of mind right there, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is way rippling outside of the physical. This is going into like relationships and healing and
Oh my
yeah,
God.
it's huge.
It's huge. I mean, like my family's on it, as when I did the cleanses, um, and it continued on, on the superfoods and things. And my mom and dad, they went on it, and the ease with which they've shifted and lost weight. The pictures, they've got this glow on their face. People, they're in their late 60s, and they've just got this glow on their face when they, when they stand next to their friends, they're taking pictures and stuff. You can literally see it. You can see that vibration that, they are, and people are commenting. They travel all over the world. They're right now, they're somewhere else in the world, and people are saying to them, what are you doing? You look great, and for me, that makes me feel happy because I know that my transformation has not only helped me, but my family, and, we can all be enjoying health and well-being, and, and they've always been healthy, like, into yoga, into this and that and everything else. And for them, this is just like, it's just phenomenal,
Mm-hmm.
My dad is a heart patient, and or should I say was, because
Wow.
he's had heart attack and different things, and stents and all that. But he went to the cardiologist recently, and the cardiologist was saying that his heart's in a good space, and it's like it's fine. And he's been having these, and I mean, to go to the doctor and get that just it's like
Beyond words, right.
Yeah.
Deep gratitude, no kidding.
Yeah, and he, like I said, they've just traveled, and he was an asthmatic, and he normally still kind of takes his inhalers out of just kind of prevention. And he when he went to this country, he went to Malaysia, and he said he got off the plane. Normally, he'd get off there because we used to live there. He said, I'd get off the plane, and he said it was like instantly. I'd need my inhaler because of the humidity and all of that. He said, I got off the plane, and he said it was like nothing.
Wow.
He didn't have any of that. And he said to me, I'm going to go back home. And he said, I'm just going to cut down my other inhalers. He said, the dosage. And, obviously we don't suggest anybody does that with medication without the doctor's, approval and all that kind of stuff. But this is his words that, this is how good he's feeling, that he can actually say that. And that's just the beginning, with that. And he had these bags under his eyes, that they were huge, and it was causing problems. And the doctor said they needed surgery to clear those out. And they've gone down by so much, and he's so happy. He's like, oh, I don't need surgery now. It's those little things. It really is.
And I have tons of stories just like that. And it brings up one of my best friends who I actually, because I knew this was it for me. It was just like, I knew this was the magic bullet, if you want to call it that. And so I actually told her, I said, you're going to get on this. And the reason why I said that to her is because she had this, like in the last 4 years before she got on these products, she had this like vicious cycle of the allergies and the asthma. And then those would actually like exasperate into pneumonia. And she was constantly like, when it would get bad enough, she would be in the ER getting a shot, to feel better, whatever. But there were times where like the doctors were like, you need to stay overnight. I mean, that's how bad it was. And it was just like in the last 4 years, she couldn't breathe. Her eyes were always like very sick looking, very tired, very teary. And, she tried everything under the moon, everything, all these holistic, people were suggesting everything and nothing helped. And what was cool about this, it was like and she had bad insomnia. That was one of the biggest issues, is she couldn't sleep. And within like, I want to say she said 2 or 3 days that she was sleeping like 4 or 5 hours, which before she wasn't even sleeping at all. And so like now when I ask her, like, what's your testimonial? She's like, my testimonial is I could breathe, and yeah, I love it. So, I mean, it's just amazing, how quickly, these things can work for us. And yeah, it's not just us, not just me and you. I mean, it's just like, we have stories in our family, our friends, people that we're sharing it with on Facebook that we're just learning, that are meeting for the first time now, because we're open enough to share it, just like we are today. But
yeah, totally. Yeah, it's huge. And then the other thing is that just mention the science bit of it, because that's who I am, and I know you like that aspect too, and there's a lot of people that want to hear that. And I remember listening to Deepak Chopra, and he was saying in one of his talks, he was talking about the microbiome, which is basically the bacteria that we coexist with in our bodies, and they help with our mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health. and they contribute to about 90 odd% of our DNA. And, that's a huge part. They help us produce enzymes in the body. And, so for health reasons, it's vital that we are living in harmony with them. And, because they contribute to so much. But what he said, we can't control what we breathe, but we can control what we put in our mouth. And he said within 10 minutes, like that's 10 minutes of what you put in your mouth impact your DNA.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Yeah. And what that does is it switches on and off certain genes that contribute to whether you have lots of inflammation in your body or less inflammation, because everything begins with inflammation, practically everything. And, this is why I feel so good about it, because yes, I used to eat well and I still do and all of that. But there was something that just, like I said, like we both said, it was something that was not allowing us to bridge that gap. And for me personally, my body and what I've seen with my family and other people, and you've seen and shared, and all of that, you can see it. It's like it goes beyond anything that, we just know it. You can actually see people, like you said, your friend, the inflammation just, I mean, it's like.
Yeah. And I just want to complete that with, like, she still continues to thrive, and as we are too. It's like none of that old pattern, that disease symptoms are back. It's just because she's continuing to support her body through these. But it's incredible because, what was missing? Something was missing before.
Yeah.
Clearly. So.
And what I love about it is that, it's not supplements, because supplements can sometimes not be absorbed into the body. It's like pure food. It's food. And the body knows how to deal with pure food. It's intelligent. And I feel like we need to bring this up, and is that, the body, we have to honor this intelligence that exists within us. It's there, it's ready to show up. And we just have to, when we honor it, like treating our bodies with the temple that it is, and giving it what it needs, it'll show up. And this is how it's showing up on all the different levels, with, we were saying, it's deeper than the physical. And that takes me to consciousness, like, it feels like it's raising our consciousness, because the consciousness is already there, and then we've got all the other stuff, and then as we bring in those foods, it allows for that consciousness to surface. And it to me, that's just beyond anything and everything.
Well said.
Yeah, it impacts not only us, and you said that, it's like it doesn't impact us only, but it impacts our families and our relationship.
I was gonna say, it's incredible. You can easily dismiss it if you're not conscious or aware enough, but also we are what we eat. It's not just the physical part of it. It's like it's the complete package. And you can feel it. You can feel like these live superfoods, whole foods in our body. And, there are times where you could literally feel the vibrations, when you're just sitting there like, oh my God, before I didn't feel any of that. And that's why my body was not functioning properly or at the highest level. But now it's just like, ooh, what's next? What do I get to look forward to next? Again, going back to that running, like, where did that come from? What part of me? I think that was the infinite intelligence that was just like, let me show you what's possible, and it's just like, oh my God, it was incredible. And it is incredible.
And it brings me to the point of, like, consciousness in kids, because I feel that what we give to our children, it does impact how they show up because everything they're having is impacting the way their cells are being made. All of that, and we work with families that have amazingly gifted children, and it's just as soon as they get these nutrients, even you can say more because I know you've got lots of stories on that, but just I felt it was important to add that bit because it's not just about us as adults, and it's bringing this into the children, so vital because it does help them maintain that consciousness they already are, rather than bringing it down as they grow older.
Well, what do you think about sharing our little friends that you actually introduced us to?
Well, yeah, because he was
Because what a powerful story that is.
God, he was diagnosed on the autistic spectrum, and he started these products, and one of them, he was on them, and it's been a total shift. I mean, from being a child who could not focus, couldn't look at someone else and say hi and have a conversation, totally running around. He sits there now, has a conversation, is able to look at you, look at things, look at focus. And it gives me goosebumps because I've seen him, the shift. It's incredible.
And I've seen how it also affected his mom, before, because I had met her before he started taking these superfoods, and then after, and it was just like, it totally affects it, the whole family. And then of course beyond, right? How many people that this child's actually affected since too, before and after, but it's incredible, right? And another thing that was coming forward for me was his motor skills as well. I mean, everything, it's just not just the intention. The intention's incredible. Yeah. But it's like something's connecting now that wasn't before.
Yeah. It was like the brain could rewire into places where it couldn't before.
Yeah. It's an incredible story.
Yeah. And
that story has been shared many places that I've been at, and it's just like, oh, there's that story again. So it's touched a lot of people's hearts. And
this is what makes it so wonderful that I actually came out of hiding with my story.
Yeah,
because that's helped you. It's helped.
Thank you. Yeah,
it's helped my friends, my family. And now it's helping people through you that I don't even know. And that makes me smile. It makes my heart smile, knowing that us stepping into our power, us stepping into being who we are, it has helped so many other people. And I know you and I are very similar in that we just want to be able to share our hearts truly, authentically, and, in the way it's meant to be.
Well, we also realize that there's so much value, to this. And that's what's really driving us to share this. It's like, it's a life changer. It's a game changer. It's being able to live and express yourself at higher levels and live, with such energy and feel, 10 years younger or maybe even more. I mean, I've been on it 3 months. I don't know where I'm going to be in even like 6 months, So it's mind blowing, really. 3 months, man. Like when I think about it, it's just 3 months and I can talk like this before. I'm telling you, I would be like, oh, if you would ask me if I'd be doing a video, I'd be like, no. I would have a million reasons why I couldn't do it, and it wouldn't be the real reason, but it would be like, it's life-changing.
Yeah, totally. Well, I know people, if anybody is listening to this video, they can just get in touch with us if they need to know more. And both of us, I know I can speak for myself, and I know I speak for you too, and you can say so too, but we just know that, we needed to share this so that people know, and if it resonates with their hearts, they'll know.
Mm-hmm.
And they can just get in touch with us.
Yeah, my intention was like, as I came in, it was a total godsend, it was in my prayers. And, I know that there are people just like me, just like you, Charan, that, are praying for this right now. And yeah, like you just said, you know, if it resonates with you, if you feel it in your heart, don't hesitate, and we can answer any questions, and we'd be happy to. So yeah, was the reason why we got together today.
Yeah. So thank you so much for this, Lori, and I honor you. I honor you.
Aww. Thank you. Felt that. And I honor you as well. So thank you.
So thank you.